So continuing in the previous sessions in which we are discussing about various accounting concepts, another accounting concept which is very important is called accounting period concept. Now, what is the objective of accounting? The objective of accounting is to estimate is what is called as profit and loss. The major objective of the accounting is I want to estimate how much profit or loss the business or the company has made. Now, once you ask this question, how much profit or loss has the business made? The next obvious question which comes, first define the period. You are asking a profit or loss for what? Are you asking profit or loss for a day? Are you asking a profit or loss for a month? Are you asking profit or loss for a quarter, for a half year, or for the year? And therefore, it's very important that this is a half question, that is, what is a profit and loss? The complete question has to be, what is a profit and loss for a period? You have to define the period first when we are estimating the profit and loss for any business or for any firm. And therefore, when we are preparing a books of accounts, I first define that what is my period is. Now that period can be technically even one day also. So theoretically, I can estimate profit even for one day. Even though normally companies do not prepare accounts for one day, generally the accounting period can be a quarter, it can be it can be a month, it can be a quarter, it can be a half year, or it can be an year itself. It's only once you define a period. So you have to first specify a period, only then I can estimate that what my profit and loss will be. And once you define a period, that all the transactions are recorded in the books of account only for that specified period. So theoretically, if you want to know profit and loss for a given day, that only the income and expense for that given day has to be computed. If I want to know a profit and loss for a month, then the transactions which in terms of revenue and expense for a month, only those are to be recorded, because only then you will be able to estimate the profit and loss for a month. Therefore, once the period is decided, only then I can assign what is a good purchase and what's the sales which has happened for that particular period only, and only then I can estimate correctly what is my profit and loss for that particular period. Now, this helps business for estimating tax liabilities. So, you can estimate for generally a tax is paid for a year, and therefore, if you want to estimate tax, you have to define that particular period. And you to also assess once you define a period, then it's also better you can compare the performance of a company. So if I were to compare the performance of two companies or two businesses, it has to be for the same period. I can't compare the performance of 3 months of a company to an annual performance of the company. And therefore, for banks, for financial institutions, and for anyone who want to analyze the performance of a company, you have to analyze the performance of a company for a particular period. And then it also gives you a benchmark that I want to compare the performance of a company from 1st January 2021 to 31st December 2021. So I want to see how the company has performed in this particular calendar year. And similarly, so this can be a calendar year, and therefore, if you are comparing a performance of two companies, it has to be in the same period. Now, the time period, as I mentioned, it is and the prerogative of the accountant that what period he want to take. So, in generally, companies prepare accounting records on a yearly basis, on a half-yearly basis, also on a quarterly basis. In India, we also have two types of year which are running at present. One is a calendar year, which is mentioned here, and we also have a financial year, which starts from 1st April and continue to 31st March. So, and first I need to specify the period. As I mentioned, period can be theoretically one day, even though it doesn't make sense to estimate the profit and loss for one day, but theoretically it can be. A period can be a month, a period can be a quarter, a period can be a half year, or a period can be year. And you have to first define the period. So period can be, let's say, a first quarter. I'm saying 1st January to 31st March. So I want to estimate that what is the performance of a company during this period. So once I want to estimate the performance of company for this period, I will only look at the transaction which have accrued in this period only. And once I estimate the income which has happened in this period, I get the expenses for this period, I will be able to estimate the profit and loss for a particular period. This is also important from the context that business firms want to distribute some income at regular intervals. So once you define a period, it becomes much easier that at what period you want to declare the dividend. Dividend, for the benefit of those who are not aware about it, dividend is a part of a profit which is shared among the shareholders or the owners of the company. So it is important before we start preparing the books of accounts, we start preparing income statement. The income statement, the heading of the income statement, it has to be mentioned for a period for which the income statement is prepared. It is for that period I'm trying to estimate the profit and loss of the company. It is for that period I want to analyze the performance of the company. Unless until a period is not defined, I cannot prepare, I cannot estimate the profit and loss, and I cannot compare the performance of a company. So before we start preparing and estimating the profit and loss of the company, I need to first define what is my accounting period is. Only for that period I will estimate all the transactions which have happened for this period and all the income and expenses for a period to get a correct value of profit and loss of the company. So this is what an important concept which is called accounting period concept. We'll continue for further more concepts in the later sessions. Thank you.